Ubuntu, the distribution that introduced millions to Linux, powers most of the internet servers and somehow still gets absolutely roasted in every Reddit thread. It is the Toyota Camry of Linux. Reliable, powerful, popular, but a bit boring, and enthusiasts will judge you for driving one. Today we are diving into Ubuntu, the installation that your grandma could handle, the desktop environment and snap controversies, gaming performance, and why this distro is simultaneously the most recommended and the most mocked distribution in existence. If you're new to the channel, subscribe, leave a like on the video, and make sure to watch till the end to understand all about Ubuntu. Welcome to the Unboxing OS series where we explain so you can explore. Let's talk about Ubuntu's installation process. And by process, I mean clicking next 7 times while Ubuntu does literally everything for you. Here's the grueling, back-breaking procedure. Boot from USB, you're greeted by a friendly GUI installer, none of that scary terminal stuff. Choose your language, click Install Ubuntu. Maybe check the box for third-party drivers if you're feeling adventurous. Ooh, living on the edge, I see. Choose whether you want to install alongside Windows like some kind of dual boot daredevil. Create a username and a password. Pick your time zone by clicking on a map. Look at you, world traveler. Then wait 15 minutes while Ubuntu installs itself. That's it. You reboot and you have a fully functional desktop with a web browser, Office suite, media player, and games you'll never play. Arch users will tell you this. Hand holding means you learn nothing about your system. Ubuntu users will tell you they don't have better things to do on a Sunday afternoon than manually configuring bootloaders. Both are correct and both are silently judging each other. The installation is so easy that computer magazines literally hand out Ubuntu DVDs to readers saying just try it. Your dad could install Ubuntu. My dad did install Ubuntu, he called it the orange Windows. After installation, you're dropped into GNOME. Well, Ubuntu's version of GNOME, which they've customized with a dock on the left because apparently vanilla GNOME wasn't their style. Let's pour one out for Unity, Ubuntu's custom desktop environment that everyone hated until Chronicle killed it and then suddenly everyone misses it. Classic internet behavior. Unity was actually ahead of its time. A converged desktop mobile interface before Microsoft tried the same thing with Windows 8. Both were equally loved, which is to say, not at all. Now we're on GNOME, which looks gorgeous but uses more RAM than Chrome. Yes, that's possible. But the real controversy, snap packages. Oh boy, buckle up. Chronicle decided the future of Linux software distribution was Snap, containerized sandboxed applications. Sounds great in theory, except they're slower to launch, take up more disk space, and Chronicle controls the backend store. The Linux community loves centralized controls by corporations. Just kidding, they absolutely lost their minds. Want to install Firefox on Ubuntu? It's a snap. Chromium? Snap. That innocent calculator app, believe it or not, also snap. You can't escape them. It's like Chronicle looked at Flatpak, the community developed open alternative, and said, what if we did that, but proprietary and everyone hates us? The hilarious part? You can technically remove Snap, but Ubuntu fights you on it like you're trying to uninstall a critical system component. It's not bloatware, it's a feature. Linux Mint literally exists because they said Ubuntu is great, but what if we removed all of Chronicle's opinions? Spoiler, people loved it. Gaming performance. Gaming on Ubuntu, it works, which honestly surprised everyone, including Ubuntu users. Most benchmarks, Ubuntu performs within 2 to 5% of other mainstream distros. Pop OS sometimes edges it out slightly. Arch users will smugly mention their 7% FPS advantage while ignoring that they spent 6 hours configuring their system to achieve it. The secret sauce is Proton, Valve's compatibility layer that lets Windows games run on Linux. And here's the thing, Proton works the same on Ubuntu as anywhere else. Your games don't care that you're running a quote-unquote normie distro. Ubuntu makes installing NVIDIA drivers almost criminally easy. You click a button in additional drivers and it just works. Arch users are still typing commands. Ubuntu users have already fragging noobs in CS2. The real gaming advantage, stability. Your system isn't breaking after updates because you're running LTS packages that have been tested extensively. You trade bleeding edge kernel versions for actually being able to play your games when you sit down on a Friday night. Revolutionary concept. I know. Who should use Ubuntu? The Linux newcomers. Ubuntu is literally designed for you. It's the baby's first Linux distro. And it's not an insult. It's excellent at its job. The tutorial content available online is massive. I just wanted to work person. You have a life, hobbies, and maybe even touch grass occasionally. You have a computer that functions without reading documentation. Ubuntu got you. The Windows refugee. The interface is familiar enough that you don't panic, different enough that you feel like you're upgraded. The transition is smooth. The professional who needs stability. Ubuntu LTS gives you 5 years of support. Your boss doesn't want you tinkering, they want uptime and predictable maintenance windows. Who should avoid Ubuntu? The minimalist. You spend hours removing pre-installed software. Just use Arch or Debian minimal to build up instead of tearing down. The anti-corporate rebel. If Chronicle's business decisions make you eye to itch, dozens of community-driven distros exist. Debian is right there. The snap header. You could fight Ubuntu's default consistently, or you could use Linux Mint. Like, save yourself the aggravation. So, Ubuntu's relationship with the Linux community is complicated. It's like that successful friend everyone makes fun but secretly relies on. Ubuntu democratized Linux. Billions of users' first Linux experience was Ubuntu, including many who now use superior distros and won't shut up about it. The documentation is excellent, second only to ArchWiki. Server deployment is straightforward, which is why it dominates cloud infrastructures. Ubuntu spawned an entire ecosystem: Linux Mint, Pop OS, Elementary OS, Zorin OS, all based on Ubuntu because Chronicle did the heavy lifting. Even the haters benefit from Ubuntu's existence. Someone had to make Linux accessible to normal humans. Major software vendors support Ubuntu officially. Enterprise applications, they test on Ubuntu first. Chronicle's commitment issues, Amazon integration removed after backlash. MIR display server abandoned. Unity killed. Ubuntu Touch dead. Ubuntu for Android vaporware. Chronicle has a track record of announcing the future then ghosting projects like a bad Tinder date. The telemetry debate. Ubuntu collects usage data by default. Yes. The truth, much of the Ubuntu hate is cool kid syndrome. It's too popular, too accessible, too corporate friendly. Hating Ubuntu makes people feel sophisticated, like preferring vinyl records and artisanal coffee. Meanwhile, Ubuntu keeps chugging along, powering millions of desktop and servers, giving exactly zero thoughts to the haters. It's too busy actually working. Ubuntu isn't perfect. Snap package divide users, Chronicle makes questionable decisions, and yes, it comes with software you might not want. But you know what? It works reliably, consistently, predictably. It's the distribution that brings people to Linux and doesn't scare them away immediately. Is it the most optimized? No. The most customizable? Definitely not. The coolest at parties? Only if your orange is your favorite color. But for millions of users, Ubuntu is exactly what they need. A stable, well-supported operating system that doesn't require weekend reading just to update your graphics drivers. So go ahead, use Ubuntu, don't apologize. While Arch users are troubleshooting their 5th kernel panic this month, you'll be, actually using your computer. Wild concept. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this roar/love letter to Ubuntu, hit that like button and subscribe. If you use Ubuntu, welcome to the club. We have working systems and available weekend. A quick disclaimer before I go. This video is mostly to give you guys an idea about what a system is, what you should look for, what you guys like who these distributions are for and who should probably avoid it. This is no this is better than this. No, it's not like that. Every distribution has its uses. If you are a savvy user, if you know your system works, you don't have to force yourself to use something just because someone says it's good. If you like Ubuntu, use it. If you like Arch, use it. If you like Fedora, use it. It's all up to you what you think is good and reliable to you. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.